What's up, everybody? It's Juanita here from Soul Hugger, and today we are going to talk about self-love. And I'm just going to let you know right now that I'm calling bullshit on this. Let me explain. There is so much talk about self-love these days. I think it's worth talking about because it's an important topic to address. It's, how we think about ourselves and how we identify and create our identities really determine our decisions and how we show up in the world. But very often I hear self-care being used synonymously with self-love, and I can understand why we tend to put these two concepts together, but in my personal experience, they're different. Self-care is critical, it's crucial. We're like ATM machines. You can't take out what you didn't put in. But for me, self-care is something that I discipline myself to do. A lot of times, self-care just means doing things to keep myself healthy and doing the things that only I can do for myself. Working out, meditating, maintaining my hygiene. But those things, as great as they are, they don't make me feel full of love for myself or, fulfilled in my spirit. For me, those things are just self-maintenance. But I do it because I understand my limitations. If I don't have my health overall, then I have nothing, right? And here's the thing. Self-care isn't an act of self-love. Self-care is what we do for ourselves so that we can continue to do for others. And that's what creates this idea of self-love. But I really don't think that we're created to love ourselves. Let me just talk about why I don't believe that we are created to love ourselves. One, because we wouldn't be here. Our whole existence depends on loving one another. Each and every one of us came from two people. Our whole existence as we know it, for us to have made it this far, is a group effort. Not just even two, but a whole group effort. We are tribal people. We are not meant to live alone or to be alone. You only get one thing alone, and that is lonely. So I think just naturally, by design, in order to exist, we are not supposed to be in love with ourselves. Love is about other people, and it's about what we experience in ourselves because of other people. And what I mean by that is, self-esteem doesn't come from what we get. It comes from what we can give. We're not solitary creatures. We're tribal, social beings. I had a sponsor who once told me, if you want self-esteem, you have to do esteemable things. And it's simple, but true. You can have so much talent and beauty and support and still be the most insecure person in the world. But when we do something for others, we feel useful. And when we feel useful, we feel like we serve a purpose, which makes us feel good about ourselves and who we are. And when we feel good about who we are, then we appreciate our lives. And it makes us want to practice self-care to maintain it, right? This brings up another thing for me, and I do think that it's related. It's important to me to talk about the overwhelming messages lately that claim you can manifest something by doing nothing. We see a lot of clickbait that preys on wishful thinking. And as much as I believe in finding your flow and surrendering to the spiritual laws of the universe, the truth is that if you truly want real abundance and lasting success, you've got to take action. A lot of it. There's no such thing as getting something for nothing. And honestly, at your core, do you really want that? Or do you want to live a life of purpose, contribution, and respect? If you were given $1 million today, you might be extremely happy and feel really lucky, but it wouldn't boost your self-worth. You might think it would, given you could look a lot better, have nicer things. But when something's made cheap and fast, it tends to break easily. And once it cracks, you find that it's hollow inside. Did you know that most people who hit the lottery go broke within a year? If you can't manage $1,000, how can you manage $1 million? Why does this happen? Because easy come, easy go. True change comes from changing who we truly are at the core, how we think, how we feel, how we live. Now, what does this have to do with self-love? Well, we live in a culture that's obsessed with working less but having more, having things handed to us as fast as possible. And we also live in a culture where more people are starving for true meaning in their lives because they're confusing social significance with love. There are those who reach fame and fortune that because they still feel that void of emptiness inside, they think there must be something wrong with them. And then there are those who think there's something wrong with them because the void of emptiness they feel inside is because they lack fortune and fame. The void that they're feeling is loneliness because we're simply not designed to be in constant focus of ourselves. Me. And the best thing you can do when you're feeling down about yourself is get out of your own head and go help someone else. You'll feel better about yourself because we're always experiencing love inside of ourselves. But when it comes from someone else, it's still being felt inside of us. You know, people often say we should treat ourselves as kindly as we treat other people. But the truth is, most of us are really judgy toward other people. If somebody's hard on themselves, they're hard on you too. They're just not saying it. I think that we get hurt in love. We get hurt by other people. It's bound to happen. People are going to break our hearts. So we fathom up this idea that we can live without them and that we will be safer and we'll be better off if we just provide ourselves with everything that we need and want. And so we created this idea of self-love. I don't need anybody else. I can just love me. But I just don't think that's the truth. I think that we have to separate one or two of our worst experiences from how everyone else is going to treat us. And I think that the biggest thing that we have to learn is that when we get hurt, we can't stop loving. We can't give up on love. And I really think that this idea of self-love is stemming from that. If you really want to love yourself, you really want to find appreciation for yourself, you have to find it through how you treat other people. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't appreciate ourselves. I'm saying that we seem to be more obsessed in our culture over ourselves out of fear of letting anyone else in. And we don't want to feel powerless. So we work desperately to make sure that we can take all of our power back. But I do believe that when it comes to this idea of self-love, it's coming from a place of fear because we need other people and we need love from other people. If we don't have it, we stop existing. Babies don't just survive on their own. In fact, if a baby isn't held, a baby can die. We need each other. And self-love relies on other people just like we do. Just like everything else in our lives depend on other people. Right now, I have on these clothes that involved so many people in the world that I will never meet, never know. But thanks to them, I have clothes on my back. We can't survive without each other. We don't even know each other, but we're alive and we're keeping life going because of people. And that's what I think about love or self-love. Well, really, that's what I think about love. I do think that love is about other people, and that's just a universal law. Let's talk about success and other people. If you can help other people succeed, you can succeed. Look at the billionaire entrepreneurs of the world. You think they're the only ones who benefited from their success? No, they created jobs and opportunities for others by creating their own products and services. They got rich because of what they were able to contribute and provide for other people. And they'll all tell you that they worked their asses off, the ones who were self-made, because we're talking about self-respect here. And I think that is what we're really trying to get to, because in this let's get everything fast and quick and not work for it, we're losing every shot we have at self-respect, because respect is earned. If you ask any trust fund baby, they might tell you they have a lot of envy, but not a lot of respect. And I'm not saying people who were born rich aren't respectable. I'm saying that those people are just like you and me when it comes to respect. It isn't about what you've been given. It's about what you give with what you've been given. You might be admired for your gifts, your talents, beauty, and intellect, but you won't be respected for them. You will for your work ethic, generosity, and your accomplishments. You can't take credit for your God-given gifts. You were born with them. Thank God, thank the universe, thank your parents. You can only take credit for what you decide to do with them. How are you going to use them? Are you going to use your wit to cut people down or to entertain and educate? You might have been born with a lot of privilege, but are you using your resources to help move humanity forward, or just throwing it all away through a lifetime of partying and pettiness? You might feel superior for your intellect or your talent, but love is a stranger to your ego and the master of your heart. If you do good things with your gifts, then you get rewarded. And those rewards are called self-esteem and self-respect. True self-love, self-esteem, and self-respect come from contribution. It's not about how much you care for yourself, but about how much you care for others. It's about what you have to give to others and not how much you can get from each other. Self-love and success aren't determined by things you get. They're determined by who you become. And true abundance isn't just measured by how much you've got. It's measured by how much you've got to give. True empowerment comes from your ability to provide instead of being provided for. If you surrender yourself to being useful and to the service of others, your cup will always runneth over. Because winning at life is a game of giving.